All right, so what we're going to do is, because this class is shortened, we're not even going to get into the VHL. We're going to wait till next week to do that. What we're going to concentrate on this class is actually going over the subjunctive, okay? And we're only going to start, we're going to learn how to conjugate it with only the AR verbs right now. Regular, irregular, okay? So just follow along with me. And we will, now you will need to take your textbook, notebook. Saquen sus cuadernos, por favor. Saca tu cuaderno, take out your notebook. Vas a tomar notas cuando te diga. You're going to take notes when I tell you, okay? Así es, muchachas, así es. And I realized I have a pointer. Ha! All right, so vamos. So lo que tenemos que saber, what we have to learn here, so we're going to only look at the AR verbs, okay? So I want you to write down on your notebooks AR, regular. Okay, so these are the endings for the regular verbs. We don't worry about vosotros, okay? So yo, tú, es, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, hemos, ellos, ellas, ustedes, en. So basically speaking, when you have a regular AR verb, we are going to just change it or conjugate it the way you would any other verb, okay? So, por ejemplo, caminar, okay? What do we do when we want to conjugate a verb? Es lo que hacemos. We write the word and the infinitive. We drop the ending, right? And then we just put the ending that we want, the new ending. So, yo camine. Es posible que yo camine contigo esta noche. It is possible that I walk with you tonight. And we use the subjunctive because it's not a certainty, right? So when there is some level of doubt, that's when you use the subjunctive. And also remember that we are going to also look at, this doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? The subjunctive doesn't happen in a vacuum. There are clauses or words that come before it, right? So yo camine. Tú, que tú camines. Es posible que tú camines conmigo esta noche. It is possible that you walk with me tonight. Es posible que él camine. Remember that que is in there. Es posible que él camine conmigo esta noche. Es posible que nosotros caminemos contigo esta noche. Y es posible que ellos caminen contigo, con nosotros, con Pablo, con Mackenzie, con Estrella, con Karen esta noche. All right? Not hard at all, is it? Very simple. All right, and that is all you do for your regular AR verbs. So let's take a look. Oh, by the way, muchas gracias. You're in the Latinx club, right? Thank you so much. Muy bella. So thoughtful of you. Vamos a ver estos ejemplos. So let's take a look at these examples. Tenemos el verbo hablar. So we have to talk. Yo hablé, repeat after me. Yo hablé, yo hable. Sorry, there's this different intonation. Yo hable. Tú hables. Él hable. Do you notice the intonation's a little different? It's like an imperative, right? It's like when you're commanding someone. Nosotros hablemos. Ellos hablen. Es importante que ellos hablen con sus padres. Es importante que Karen hable con Mackenzie. All right? Lo dudo que Estrella hable con Gerardo. All right? Do you see how we're using it? All right, let's look at the verb esperar. What is esperar? It can mean two different things, to hope or to wait for. Es importante que yo espere 5 minutos después de comer para caminar. It's important that I wait 5 minutes after I eat to walk. All right? Llamar. Es posible que Mackenzie, so we would say ella, right? Es posible que Mackenzie llame a Johnny esta noche, right? Okay. So let's take a look at some other examples now. We're going to go into the irregular verbs. These are the stem changing verbs. All right? The stem changing verbs, and there are a few of them, but remember with stem changing verbs that you have to change the stem before you do anything else. For example, pensar. Let's take a look at pensar. Let's look at a normal conjugation, just like I think. Yo pienso. Right? See how it changes? Yo pienso, tú piensas, él piensa, nosotros pensamos, ellos piensan. So it changes in the stem, even in the regular present conjugation, right? So stem changing verbs are also going to change in the subjunctive. Van a cambiar en el subjuntivo. Van a cambiarlo. You're going to change it normalmente, como si fuese normal. Okay, so you're going to change it just like you would normally. But now you're going to add the subjunctive endings. Okay? Piense, pienses, piense, pensemos, piensen. So what you have to remember about the subjunctive with the stem changing verbs is that you have to change the stem the way you would normally change it anyway. Just remember that there are stem changing verbs. Volver is one of them, right? Es necesario que piensen a qué universidad van a asistir. Right? ¿Alguna pregunta? Any questions? Okay. Now, we also learned in other, I don't know why it does that. I didn't push any freeze. We also learned in previous Spanish years that there are orthographic verbs that change, right? Do you remember orthographic changing verbs? Those are verbs that change because they need to sound phonetically correct. For example, sacar. When you change it, when you change CAR verbs, they change to QU. Why do they change to QU? ¿Por qué cambian a QE? Porque si tienes, ¿eso dice sacar? ¿Saque? No. What does that say? Sase. What is the only way that you can get the sound, the correct way? Is by adding a QU, right? You want that sound that the word sacar has, and so you say saque con QE. So you write QU instead of the C. You are replacing the letter for a phonetic change. All right, so you are It's called orthographical changes because you're changing the spelling of the word for phonetic changes, right? So that it sounds correct. So you are changing the spelling to make it sound correct. Now you can say saque, saques. Es necesario que saques la basura una noche antes de que vengan por ella. It is necessary that you take out the trash one night before they come for it. Okay, another one, buscar. Again, you can't have what does this say? Does this say busque? No, that says busé. That's why we have this orthographical change. Okay, and it's the same thing with tocar. And it's going to be that way with any verb that ends in car. Any verb that ends in car. Cualquier verbo que termine con car, van a cambiarlo a QU. Porque tienen que sonar fonéticamente correctamente. So, vamos a hacer lo mismo con aquellos verbos que terminan con gar. We're going to do the same thing with those verbs that end in gar. You don't have to write all of these, you can just write one example. Just one example. Is this bringing back memories of Spanish 2, maybe, where you learned how to, okay, so this is the same thing. Para cambiar. ¿Por qué? ¿Qué dice esta palabra? Esta palabra dice pagué. No, that says pagé. Pagé. Remember, the only way that you can make the good sound when you have an E next to it is by inserting what letter? U. Okay, by inserting that U. Pagué. So that's why you have pagué, pagues, pague, paguemos, paguen. Llegar, llegue, llegues, llegues. The same thing. Again, we're changing the spelling of the word to make it sound correctly. This thing is so sensitive.
Maybe the X on the bottom.
Ah. Oh, you are so smart. All right, so do you see how so it's not that hard. It looks hard. When you first saw the video at the very beginning, like a month and a half ago, where you're like, then we take it slowly, and it's not so hard. And again, tenemos lo mismo con verbos que terminan con sar. Okay, let me just tell you right now, put your pencils down. We do not have this syllable in Spanish. Okay, no words have that syllable. That is why you have to change it to this. Okay? You cannot say ZE, it has to be CE. All right, so we have the word cruzar. Although the Z makes the C sound, you don't have the syllable ZE in Spanish. It doesn't exist. So we have cruce, yo cruce, tú cruces, ella cruce. So let's pick, Mackenzie, pick any one of these ZAR words, and then we'll review them. Any one of them.
Of those three?
Yeah. Gozar. Okay, gozar is to enjoy. Everybody, yo goce. Because the accent and the intonation is very important. It's not yo goce, it's goce. Que yo goce. Tú goces. Everybody, tú goces. Él goce. Nosotros gocemos. Ellos gocen. Okay, very good. Any questions? All right, so anytime you see any God, or star words, this is what you do. Just like you did in Spanish too. Okay, same thing, you change the endings. Except that in Spanish, in the preterite, it's only one person that changes, but here, it's all of them. Okay? All right, so then we have those verbs that are very irregular, those pesky little verbs that change completely. And you don't have to copy these all down, just take one. And this is actually wrong. And I have a paper that, so you don't have to write that. I have a paper where I conjugate aiga. My native speakers, have you guys ever heard aiga? Aiga? So aiga is something that used to be spoken a long time ago. But it's really not considered like academic language. So instead of saying aiga, you use aya. Que haya hecho esto. So some people say aiga. That's not a correct word. It's more of a slang. Okay, and though it is in the dictionary, it's not really widely used. You want to use aya. So if you want to sound a little bit more, I don't know, formal or educated, you would say aya. All right, so let's take a look at that. That changes to de, des, de, demos, den. Ir changes completely, right? Like, so just choose one. Don't choose them all because I have a handout that I'm going to give you next time with all of these. Ir changes to vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, vayan. Sepa, sepas, sepa, sepamos, sepan. Haya, hayas, haya, hayamos, hayan. Yo esté, estés, estemos, estén. Sea, seas, sea, seamos, sean. All right? But do you see the way that the words are intonated? All right? They're almost like imperatives. Like you have to put that command into it. Notice that none of these irregular verbs are going to change. They don't have any of these, right? They don't follow the endings because they change completely. So you have to memorize these if you're going to use these. Not so hard, is it, to understand? ¿A qué hora se acaba esta clase? I forgot how much time I have. Let me look over here. I forgot how much time I have. My little thing circle is circling again. All right, we're coming to the end. All right, so again, this is just a review of some of the other stem changing verbs. Dormir, remember, changes to duerma. Sentirse, sienta. Volver, vuelva, just changes. And pedir, changes. All right, so those are the things that you have to remember. 58? Okay, we have time. Thank you. Muchas gracias. All right, raise your hand if you feel a little bit more comfortable with this subjunctive. Oh, okay, that's not so bad. All right, so the next time we meet, I'm actually going to give you, we're going to look at a list of those those clauses that, okay, those are just, that's just review. Yeah, and that's just review. All right, so the next time that we're together, I am going to, we're going to then match up the clauses or the phrases, and we're going to come up with different verbs, and then we're going to start writing our subjunctive sentences with the AR verbs. We're going to play with that a little bit, and then we'll learn ER and IR verbs because they're always together. And then that's all there is. Well, this is just the present subjunctive. We're not doing all that other stuff. No, it's too complicated. Okay, so that's all you're really going to need for the test. Okay, so we actually have some time left. Now, did I show you, did we go, we did see this, right? And we saw that? Wow, we're actually finishing up a little early. All right, well then I'm going to show you, should I or shouldn't I not? How much time do we have until? We have 8 minutes. And this is 2 minutes. No, I don't think I'm going to do that. So let me do this. Vamos a practicar ahora. Desear. All right, desear, to wish. Let's write a sentence with that. Here we go. Desear. A formula. Huh? Oh, I did that on purpose. Who wants to wish? He, she, it, or Lily. We'll say Lily. Lily desires. So the verb is desear. This is the verb that tells us that the subjunctive is coming, right? So that's our word that's telling us, oh, subjunctive's about to be used. Lily. All right, so now we have to conjugate first desear for Lily. So what would that be? Lily desea. Oops. What follows that? What word follows that? Okay, very good. Lily desea que. What do we want her to desire? A common AR word. That we walk. All right, so let's say caminar. So what is the ending that we need there? Look at your notes. Caminemos by the seashore. Por la orilla del mar. Mackenzie, look at you go, girl. Yay! Lily desea que caminemos por la orilla del mar. You did it! You did it! Oh yeah, you did it! Who thinks it's hard now? Nobody!